unstable people. This economy is making people do things that they're never been doing before. And it's getting kind of scary. And the anger that I feel sometimes, and just the way I feel, I literally hate everything and everyone sometimes. And I'm just like, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but holy shit, man. Um, if you're not a millionaire or a billionaire, you really don't mean shit in this world right now. I gotta be honest. Um, those rich fucks are the only people who they really care about right now. So I hope you guys all know that. And if you don't know that, anyway, you know where I'm going with that. But you're gonna see a lot of fucked up shit going on here. The anger's coming out, people, and it's only gonna get worse. These fucking people need to figure this out. We need to figure something out as the people. There's a lot of us on here, and there's a lot of people in the world. We need to figure out how to fix this fucking situation that we're in, because we're all in big trouble. Alright, well, I'm back for some more bullshit, and my opinion, and for whoever who wants to hear it. Anyway, it's another rant of mine. But I've been watching a lot of stuff on TikTok and Facebook and whatever, and I've noticed people are getting very angry. Mentally unstable people. This economy is making people do things that they're never been doing before. And it's getting kind of scary. And the anger that I feel sometimes, and just the way I feel, I literally hate everything and everyone sometimes. And I'm just like, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but holy shit, man. If you're not a millionaire or a billionaire, you really don't mean shit in this world right now. I gotta be honest. Those rich fucks are the only people who they really care about right now. So I hope you guys all know that. And if you don't know that, anyway, you know where I'm going with that. But you're gonna see a lot of fucked up shit going on here. The anger's coming out, people, and it's only gonna get worse. These fucking people need to figure this out. We need to figure something out as the people. There's a lot of us on here, and there's a lot of people in the world. We need to figure out how to fix this fucking situation that we're in, because we're all in big trouble.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give our praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Dash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to the Akim, pushing his word in sincerity and truth. This is your brother Yassad, back at you with another lesson for be edifying. Another one from hopefully at 3, Subscribe to the brother's channel. A lot of edificational food, video food to do, video food that you could fire up something onto the spirit, and as you see, what this gentleman is saying is on point, because I think it was last year, Bill Gates himself and even Trump came out and said prepare for a more angrier world. Yeah, because the world would be more angry, because why? The scripture says surely oppression make it a wise man mad. And is there oppression all over the place? Right now Babylon, you're hearing a lot of them, they're crying out, they're sick, they're fed up, working 3-4 jobs, and still can't even make rent and eat a proper meal. They're having no time for themselves. The scripture talk about, there's in a survey, the average, minimum workers, whatnot, they cannot afford a $2,500 rental apartment in Babylon. things getting real expensive, hyperinflation kicking in, and people have begun to feel the sting. So they would lash out. Matthew 24 and 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Yeah, because look, poverty, people under pressure, is great depression in the whole atmosphere. You know, there's great depression in the whole atmosphere. You're working 2 and 3 jobs, you hardly even getting time to take a proper rest. And it's like you just under repeat. You know, 5 o'clock in the morning, you leave home, you can't even make breakfast because you're so tired. You just only got 4 hours sleep. You know, you had to keep eating a sort of junk and buying a sort of crappy fast food. Because you haven't time to cook a proper meal. So from one job to the next job to the next job, and by the time it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night. By the time you get back home, it's all 2 o'clock. Just to take a bathe and a quick nap, and on to the next routine again. And after all of that work, your month or your fortnight pay reach, rent come up and scrape away all. You just end up with a little change to go to work, and sometimes you even borrowing. You collect your pay, but the next day you had to borrow a 200 for passage, or to rally out for food until your next pay. You name it. The oppression is just escalating on Jake. Because as you understand, a lot of the Israelites, we at the bottom of the barrel, right? We basically at the bottom of society, right? Right now, you know, into some videos here.
And I want us to really think about something, whether we really want to or not. With that increase, food is going to skyrocket as well. We all know this, right? So what do you think happens when people can't get to work, so they lose their jobs? And they can't afford to buy food anymore because they don't have a job. Or they can't afford to buy food anymore because the inflation rate and the cost of it has gone through the roof. We're barely making ends meet now. What do you think people are going to do at that point? Because it's like a lot of people are looking at this and they're saying, well, price is going to go up, and you think life is going to go on, just like it usually does, at least for those that can afford it. But you take those people then that are put in a position that they cannot afford it, and they become extremely desperate. And things will not be normal when you have millions of desperate people.
Yeah,
And
because
we really need to.
that would bring in basically, you know, sedition among men, and neighbor invading one another, because of the lack of bread. And the scripture clearly tells us about this, because this is where it's leading to. Look, I've been watching you know, people that I see had the nice job, okay paying job, and hey, job loss is security, or who working in a grocery or some sort of, want to jump out and work the vehicle and do taxi just to make ends meet. And things haven't escalated to its full potential yet. It's getting worse, right? Because that way she mentioning, people gonna reach to the state of desperacy that, you know, to bring out the prophecy, second as just 16, right? As it says here, as you're mentioning, the cost of goods gonna skyrocket. Second as just 16 and 21, behold, victual shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Yeah, because when a lot of millions of people can't afford food, things ain't gonna be normal. Let's say, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, because when you're in a desperate time, hey, you're willing to even go into your family member house and steal the food when they're not around. You know, even your neighbor, your good neighbor, if just the two friends gonna fight like enemies at a time. Sword, famine, and great confusion. This is what's gonna happen. Great confusion. The world is just gonna be an utter mess. Imagine in a city you have, let us say you have 200 homes well in one little, let us say like a small city. Let's say 400 houses well off, you know, was, a rich lifestyle and whatnot. But you say 500,000 homes now reach to the state where they can't afford food. What would happen? It's obvious they would come now to go into onto the houses that have food. That's utterly what would happen. As if for many of them that dwell on earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape hunger shall the sword destroy. Because a man would think of his belly and go to any measure to eat. So, so he wouldn't have a problem with going on to his neighbor and even killing his neighbor. Second is just 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because what? Of the lack of bread. And for great tribulation, the scripture mentions these things for a reason. Because all these things written, it all surely gonna come to pass. Right? Yeah, as we understand, even in that time, second Ezra 16 and verses 15. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand and fight up against another, and swords in the hand. Because of the wars, even you're gonna have race wars, civil unrest. All these things is gonna happen because the government ain't gonna be able to control these hundreds of thousands of people that are hungry. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings or princes. So they ain't wanna hear the prime minister or the president or the minister of national security or whatnot have to say. And the causes of their action shall stand in their power. So whatsoever they feel like doing, they're gonna do it. Right? Because they see things way beyond control. Things not normal.
And we really need to sit with that and think about it, because that is going to become our reality. All right?
the scripture said that you know, concerning the prophecy that Elisa the flock gonna draw Babylon out. Who started? Who basically included Babylon the Great in that war? You know, the state of Israel. You know, it's all prophecy just coming to pass because it's like a trickling effect. Because this situation happened, it gives off this outcome and gives off this backlash. You know, so everything is just the aid prophecy. You know, and hey, we know Jacob's trouble is around the corner. I hope this lesson may be edifying. Praises all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Dash, the brothers, the elders, and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salute to you, Akim, pushing us with the sincerity and truth. Till the next shalom.